Hi everybody, Abby Normal here. And if you're not familiar with who I am, I'm a professional psychic and spiritual healer. And today I am diving into a real psychic session for a client. This is a 60-minute soul rebirth journey where I'm going to be sharing energy work and wisdom. Now the client has shared some really interesting goals, and I'm going to go ahead and try and summarize them here. We're going to be working on healing soul wounds. And there's a particular interest in past lives in Atlantis and in World War II. Also, this client has endured some difficult loss. So there was a traumatic divorce that took place when children were young. The death of my daughter, the death of my mother, the death of my sister within a few years of each other. And this has been really hard. The loss of these female family members have been really hard. And we're wanting to clear out old patterns. And if possible, to incorporate chakra removal into the soul rebirth journey. Okay, I am so ready to do this. And I want to thank you. This is the client. I want to thank you for your open-mindedness to share your soul rebirth journey on YouTube for other people to learn. I'm going to relax now, get connected, and we're going to see what Spirit has to say about all of this and really clear out those old soul wounds and those old patterns, okay? So I'm just getting connected with your spiritual atmosphere right now. So we're going to look at loss, Atlantis, World War II. We're going to work on doing shock removal. And shock removal is an interesting concept because the name is a little bit misleading. It inspires us to think we remove chakras, but really what it's doing is integrating the way chakras are working together, integrating that into the heart portal. So that way your mind, your throat, your heart, your stomach, your sexual body, all of this is integrated into the heart, and now it's a supportive, connective environment. That's what Human Ascension is too. The human race working together in a connected, interconnected grid of love and support. So we can do that with the chakra system as well. So I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to incorporate that into this as much as I can, okay? I'm just recapping with the universe in my own energy way. Loss of family members. Okay. Wow, where do we begin here? Okay, I'm going to have to try and describe something that's a little strange. It's sticking out towards me, and I keep seeing people beating on a drum. It's actually quite lively and exciting, and the drum is basically attached to a wall and sticking out towards my face. So if I had mallets, I would be banging it like this instead of downward. But this isn't necessarily a drum. It's kind of strange, like a skin tag, but it's not. It's more firm, and it is in the shape of what could be like a tribal drum. But as I continue to look at this, there's lots of drummers. I mean, I keep seeing images of tribal drummers, and there's lots of them. There's like, 10, let's say. And they're colored, they're painted. It's exciting. It's actually exciting. I desperately want to rip this thing off the wall. And I'm telling you, it keeps echoing to me of a skin tag, a really awkwardly grown skin tag. And we need that thing removed because it's wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. It's just an awkwardly growing skin tag. And every time I look at it, I see hand takes it, big old hand takes it, what is this drum/skin tag, and rips it off of the wall, okay? And it hurts ridiculously bad. I mean, you don't rip the skin tag. Some people tie them, some people cut them. I mean, I guess it all depends, but this is big. This is a big deal. And to have somebody rip this big deal off of the wall is freaking ridiculously painful. I mean, that is worse than the Band-Aid ripping with the hair off your arm. This is like a million times worse, okay? But all the while, the drumming keeps going. Up, 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 up. There's all this drumming going. And I don't know if that is representative of heartbeat or excitement or liveliness, but it's a bit strange to coordinate excited drumming with ripping this major skin tag and the pain and suffering that it causes. Two things happening simultaneously. So let's see what this is all about exactly. Oh man. This hurts a lot. I feel a lot of pain, and it feels like physical pain, not emotional pain, okay? So we're just starting here, and I'm walking down a pathway between ripping the skin tag off and the excited drumming. And it's like an African tribe or something. And it's in, what is it, sort of thick jungle or forest. And there's painted people. And it's very exciting. And I'm walking down the pathway between these two worlds, okay? Excitement and suffering. All right. This is interesting because I'm walking down a hallway like a museum, and there's lots of large photographs, sort of like memories of times when. But this isn't just this lifetime, okay? It's like walking down the hallway of your soul. Your soul. There's a lot of photographs. And it is like art in its own way, but it's more, I mean, it's definitely massive photographs. And it looks like an art museum. And it's not always easy to see what is in each and every one of these specifically. And as I look at them, they're kind of covered up with a black haze, like I don't know. This reminds me of a Valentine's Day cards that my daughter was handing out. And they're black. But then you get a little scratchy pencil, and then you scratch off the black, and there's like a rainbow color underneath, so you can make your own drawing. So it kind of reminds me of a scratchy, like it's got a black cover, but if you scratch it, then we can see what's neat underneath the surface. It's kind of nice, kind of fun and interesting. So the question is, do we want to see things for exactly as they are, the photograph? Or maybe it's more fun to switch it up a little bit and make it our own. That's literally the message. This feels like it's coming from a little girl, actually. A little girl that isn't focused on the adult problems. A little girl that is daydreaming or imagining how we can make something serious into something fun. That's literally what it's like. And perhaps that's coming from your daughter's spirit. There's something very innocent girl-like going on here. So you're hesitant because you yourself say that if it hurts, therefore then it is about hurt. So if it is about hurt, I don't want the hurt to be covered up and then we just have fun and we just act like the hurt didn't exist. We just put a black cover and then we get a little scratchy pencil and now we're making like unicorn pictures and stars. If it hurts, then I want to see the hurt. I want to see the trauma. The interesting message in this, it comes back to this a lot, is how we as human beings, when things hurt, that's the reality. It hurt. But perspective is infinite. So what hurts one person, another person would say, wow, I wish I was in your shoes. You should see my life. So perspective and the intensity of the hurt can be manipulated. All right. And I'm not saying that this stuff didn't hurt. It definitely clearly did. But there's something about the letting go of the loss and the hurt and the trauma, literally letting go of Atlantis and World War II and the loss, and starting with something you never expected. It's just starting over again, starting with something new, as though none of that stuff ever really did exist. I know it's really strange and it feels like it dishonors the actual memories that do exist. And it dishonors the lifetimes that were difficult. this is an interesting concept because it's displaying itself in this way. So there's opportunity to just let go and then use all of your time and energy to actually embrace what is going on right now. This message has been really paramount right now. And I know that it's, Easter is coming up. There's the full moon. Like, there's energy, there's popping energy, there's spring season. So it's renewal. So a lot of this renewal energy is definitely speaking about letting go of the winter of your life, and adding a childlike emanation to it that we didn't expect, because we can actually draw unicorns over top of the suffering, and the suffering really isn't ever there, because it's actually an opportunity to enjoy life again. I'm just going to say that, okay? There's going to be a lot I'm going to tell you in this journey. Okay, so after saying that, you have stopped here in the hallway of your soul, and you're actually turned here to the right, and you're looking at a big old basically photograph, and it's got a black finish on it, just like I talked about. But you're gazing through the darkness in order to see what is beneath the surface. This is interesting. And you're able to see past the cover-up. And that is literally how I'm supposed to say it. You're able to see past the cover-up, to see the truth deep down, what is beneath the surface of the cover-up. And you're not afraid. Your soul says, I am not afraid. And you snap your fingers and you transform the effect of a large photograph or in an art museum, etc., transform it into a doorway. And then you yourself walk through it. This is a big deal because I'm often the one helping you along, but you're the manifester. You're actually the manifester right now. That says a lot about you. Okay. You've manifested the opportunity. You're having a hard time walking through the door, but you're not afraid. There's an odd sort of invisible barrier. Odd invisible barrier between where you're standing and this doorway. I'm really looking at it and feeling it out here, okay? It's almost like a big old plate of glass. We didn't even see it, and we're taking this step, and then we're stepping into it. Like, what? I'm trying to get to the doorway here. What's the glass doing? Like, what's this weird energy block in the way? What's this all about? It's interesting. It's actually you. So we desire things at the conscious level, but at the subconscious level, there's stuff we don't know about, and that desires things too. And so at the subconscious level, the part of you is desiring you to not see this at the conscious level because it's too difficult. It's too traumatizing. So it's protecting you. But really, it's preventing the healing from happening. It's really neat when you at the conscious level are ready to heal the deep stuff and the subconscious is still holding on to the fears. Is it subconscious, or is it the soul fragment or the pain of the soul that just doesn't know how to look at it because it was too painful? And so you just carry it as basically a wounded limb that'll never heal, and it's just got the infection in there and it hurts, and let's just not look at it, but it's still there, but in the conscious level, that's amazing that this has reached the conscious level, but your deeper self is afraid it will be too traumatizing for your own mind. But it's actually lying to itself because you can handle it. The soul is struggling though to look at it. This is a big deal. Just give me a minute here. I'm in your shoes and I'm just relaxing you down. I am dropping the curtain of that clear energy block. It's clear. It's literally, I can see through it, but it is a clear energy block here. We're just dropping it down because your confidence says, I am ready to see this. Just a moment. I'm still working on getting us through the doorway. It's just energy is saying, the curtain is down. We can just walk forward, but then the doorway lifts itself up. So there's still just resistance. So just give me some more time here to relax it, because I can't force it. We just have to continue to nurture it and allow it to relax. All right, I'm just saying we're already through the door. So what is it that we see? Okay, I see a very odd-faced woman. And it's not necessarily like I feel World War II or I feel Atlantis. I see a woman with a really bloated face, and she has odd rash around her mouth, and it creases and it kind of comes down. And it's really hard to look at her because her face is bloated, and this rash is very strange to look at as well. So I'm just examining the image. Okay, so as I continue to look at her face, this is really bothering me, but it's really bothering me. It appears that she's rotting. That's kind of what they're echoing to me, is that this is a head that is rotting. It looks very strange. And the more I look at this face, the more I look up and I start to see myself surrounded with a lot of heads. There's a lot of heads everywhere. This is going to be an image of its own kind, so let's just let it be. But I'm standing basically on the ground, and there's a lot of blood-saturated ground, and there's just heads everywhere. Heads. And there's a bird that is flying about, and it seems like this bird wants to tell me a message. It's a vulture, and it's watching me. I am you and you are me right now, and as you, I am standing amidst all of this death, and I'm at peace with it. These are all the souls that work together to accomplish a very important experience for the human race. And while it looks horrible, right? It looks terrible. Beneath the surface, it is beautiful. It's like what we see at the surface is just a bunch of black, right? But if we can see through the black, we'll see beneath the surface and see something else. We'll see something truer, deeper. And what is beneath the surface of what appears to be terrible, loss, horrible, is actually the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And this is important, okay? Not many people know how to do this. Not many people know how to look at death as a beautiful thing. And this terrible loss, because what this energy is, it's literally fumes of energy that are coming out here, and it's talking about extraordinary loss, but it's also talking about a collective opportunity to work together as a team. And there's souls working together as a team to be the ones that die, souls working together as a team to be the ones that are the Nazis or the good guys or the bad guys, or how we want to look at it. There's the ones that are the women at work creating all the clothes and the bullets and the guns and all this stuff. All these souls across the planet came together to share in an experience with each other. It's actually mind-blowingly amazing that this has happened, that we've learned something special with each other, and that you, my friend, participated in this. It's an extraordinary thing. It's an extraordinary gift that you have given to literally every soul in an infinite universe. So you see how I'm going to be reprogramming your identity in relationship with loss. It doesn't actually exist. Loss is not what we think it is. It's what we see at the surface is the darkness. But really beneath the surface is something more extraordinary, a vastness, something with greater depth. All right? So I'm reprogramming you because your soul doesn't need to believe that loss hurts. Your soul needs to believe now, because we can believe whatever we want to believe. Loss is horrible or loss is incredible. So we need to help your soul to let go so it can actually ascend above that level of holding on to loss. It can ascend above it and say, thank you. I feel gratitude for this. I participated in an experience. These women, these three women are definitely here. There's too much information, so I don't know who's who, but they're really smiling and encouraging you to see the wonder in living and the wonder about it, not the sadness about it, because we didn't come here to be sad. We can come here to be sad, right? But we can come here to be transformed, conquer sadness, and to see beneath the surface of the darkness something more exciting, more interesting. These women have taught, it feels like they've taught you some very special lessons. Let me just, there's too much information going on, so it's hard for me to use language to describe everything, because I got to focus one thing at a time. It overwhelms me. So let me just close my eyes here, and I'm literally just going to see what the next thing is, okay? I don't want to get too, okay, just a moment. All right, we're going to bring in these three. Okay, just a second. They're standing in the blood-soaked earth with all these rotted, bloated heads. I mean, how'd they get bloated? I guess maybe they do that. But there's this vulture here. This guy doesn't seem negative to me. He actually seems positive. He seems like a healer. And there's three women standing here. And there's something very Greek about this. I feel like I'm in some sort of Greek story, and there's, the three witches that share the one eye, and how they have to work together in order to survive, basically, to do what they do. They have to work together. They share the eye. They share the messages together. They have to work together. They're blind without that eye. They're blind without each other. And they remind me of this. Not in the evil witch way, but in the extraordinary way of support and love and connectedness. As though all along, your mom and your sister and your daughter, they were all sisters. And you were one of their sisters. So you see how souls explore different identities, but in the end, we're all sisters? That's the truth. That's the truth. So I see three sisters. And these three sisters represent your mom, your sister, and your daughter. This is really exciting, actually. And they're interesting and they're fun, because they're okay with me describing them as the witch, these like bird women from that Greek mythology story that share the eye, because we're transforming negative into positive. We want you to see the goodness in the negative things, what would be defined as a bad thing. There's goodness in it. There's lots and lots of goodness. I'm going to go closer to them, because when I feel their radiant energy, they're radiating so much energy, and it feels wonderful. I feel like I'm surrounded by family. They're not my family, they're your family, but I'm surrounded by them. I feel wonderful. And because of this wonderment, how joyful this can be, all of the heads and the blood start to disappear. It all disappears. This vulture is still here, though. And this vulture is sort of like an old man, all right? You did tell me about an old man who is your father, who you're taking care of. Maybe this is reflective of him, but let's see where this takes us. He is sad, though, too. He wants to be a part of the love, but he kind of stands on the outside of it. He's standing on the outside of it. And the vulture has the purpose of eating the dead carcasses, being kind of a cleaner of earth, right? there's, so let me just continue to feel this out, okay? He doesn't want to participate in being that. He doesn't want to clean up the dead. He doesn't want to clean up the dead. And he feels like he does. Feels like he is, there's so many heads that he must clean up. And makes me really sad. And he's all alone. And it's about perception again. It's all about perception again. He isn't alone, is he? And he doesn't have to clean up the dead, does he? It's all about what we believe and how we feel and how those feelings inspire the belief, right? I'm transforming him into a man that would be symbolic of your father, okay? He still doesn't know how to step towards the three sisters. The three sisters are so radiant. They're kind of like super women, like Marvel comic superheroes, but women. They remind me of super women. And when they come together, they're like one all-seeing eye, but they work in such amazing harmony with each other. I mean, these three souls are very closely connected, and they're like sisters. You're also a sister. This is interesting. And I see him not coming closer, though. And the one thing that he wants is to feel... When I say he wants to feel loved, it just becomes null and void. It doesn't like grow and flourish when I say that. That's what it appears to be, but let me find out why it isn't love. I'm going to step into his shoes. He says, I'm busy right now. Come back later. I say, whoa. I'm fine. You're a vulture. You're in this like blood-bathed world. There's the three sisters. You know these souls. You need to open your eyes and you need to see. You need to start opening your eyes and you need to see. He's kind of grumpy and grouchy about seeing. And he's got a kind of a spiky ball in his heart. And it's like a shield somehow. He doesn't need it at all. And I'm telling him that you're here. And I'm bringing an image of you into the picture. He wants you to take this spiky ball out of his heart. And he's withdrawn from true access to joy and love. But if you could remove it, then he could change. That's what he is emanating to me. And whenever I talk about love, it just disappears. And he says, I need the spiky ball removed from my heart. He's not really listening or like grasping the depths of the message here. I'm just going to let him become the vulture and just let him stay there because I want to get to know these three sisters representing your daughter, your sister, and your mother. They turn into birds. And I hear the song, come fly with me, come fly, let's fly away. You know that song. Why can't I think of who sings it? It's super famous. I'm hearing that song. And the three sisters turn into birds. I have no idea what kind of birds these are. They're like the size of pigeons, but they have strange beaks. They almost look like Arctic birds in a way. I've seen birds like this at like a zoo or something in a cold environment. They're cute. They're really cute, and they're black and white, and they have unique looking beaks, and they're not penguins, just so you know. They're flying, of course. They want to go into the warm sun, and they want to take you with them. This isn't about you dying or anything. This is just about taking you to the warm sun where you can heal, but they can heal with you, and how joyful it can be to visit the warm sun is what they're saying. We like to take trips to the warm sun. That's what it's like, they're saying. It's like a vacation. It's like I see 3 women in bathing suits, and they're all like the same ages, but the ones, and they're triplets. One wears a green swimsuit, one wears a red, and one wears a blue. And they all have the same, I don't know, sunglasses on. They're reading magazines. They're kind of there's something olden time feel about this. Like maybe this was like the 60s or something, some sort of pool in the 60s. And they're kind of on lounge chairs, and just, there's something very old timey about it. They're wearing one-piece swimming suits. One of them has a special type of glasses in order to read, and she's holding it. It's being held along the side, and she's using it to read the magazine. And then when she's not reading the magazine, she talks. And they're roughly, let's say, they're attractive, and they're like triplets. They look alike. They're approximately, let's just say, I don't know, mid to late 20s, early 30s. And they show me how we're taking a vacation in the sun. And it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. So glad you joined us. You need to take a vacation in the sun, and here you came. You've joined us here. Oh, so wonderful. Here, we've got a chair for you. Yes, we got a chair for you. We want you to sit down with us. They're really lighthearted and really, it's like that childlike energy that we can transform anything that's negative into positive, and we have the power. We're super women. We have the power to transform anything negative into something positive. And it's almost like we give each other many, 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 many gifts in a single lifetime. So let's just say these 3, because I do see souls. This is interesting. I've come across angels that have like triplet selves, and then when we blend together, they work as one, and they speak through one voice. So this is quite interesting to see these three women sort of as three souls, but they're like triplet souls, and they're blending together and speaking to you as one. But they're very lighthearted, and it's almost as if they concocted a scheme that they would die in a specific alignment in order to help you conquer your relationship with loss, because they have the power to teach you about love and joy and happiness, and how to turn that sweater inside out, right? Or the inside out sweater right side out, which is all about transforming the sadness into joy and celebration, and then beating of the drums, not ripping off the skin tag. We're gonna beat the drums in celebration, right? They're like this, and it's as if they knew all along that this was going to happen, and that they were going to help you conquer it in this lifetime, and they would do it by having to die sooner than you would have liked. And it's a gift that they gave to you. Isn't it strange to see your daughter as a sister to your sister and your mother? That's got to be quite strange for you. But this is legit. I mean, this is the spirit realm for you. This is really what it's like. We see these people as our kids, our moms, dads, and they've also been our pets in other lives, our boyfriends, even though they're our girlfriends. And it's like a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. Okay, so They are telling you need to take a vacation in the sun, that then they're saying thank you for joining us on this vacation in the sun. And that let's fly away song is still kind of lingering there. And there's the grumpy vulture is still kind of standing in the desolate heads world, looking around. He wants somebody to pull the spiky thing out of his heart. But he's grumpy. I mean, he needs to take the time to look at himself. There's so much joy at his fingertips. And he's also a message for you, because you can see how perception is powerful. So we can have access to lots of love and joy and still feel like we're completely alone. There's pain in our heart. Nobody understands us. I feel like I'm a piece of trash thrown away. But yet there's love all around you. How could you possibly feel that way? Well, I do. That's my perception, and I'm hanging on to it, and that's the truth. Okay, have fun with that, grumpy vulture in the heads world. You see? So now he's a lesson for you to teach you about perception and positivity, and you're a lesson for him to teach him about positivity as well. So we're all working together as a team. It's just like in World War II, we all work together as a team as well. What about Atlantis? I'm really curious about Atlantis here. People don't often see it in this way, but that's the truth. It's perception. And every perception is correct. It just depends on how you want to feel about life. Do you want to feel dismal and like life sucks? Or do you want to feel like, you know what? This is a gift. This is an opportunity for me to conquer something. Wow, I feel so sad because I loved them that much. That is a gift right there. And I'm going to take this gift and I'm going to embrace life. And because it's encouraging me to embrace life. As my gift in return to say thank you. This is how we can see loss, Well, let's see. What happens next? I really like them. I really like the three sisters. I really like their souls very, very much. Because they're really lighthearted and they remind me of sunlight and sunshine and easygoing, relaxed days. Letting the stress roll that off your shoulders. Life is going to be great. Everything's going to be fine. I don't see any heads here. It's a beautiful world. That's kind of what they emanate, and it's really easy to feel that way being around them. All right, something is huge energy shift going on here. Let me just let this roll through. It's like I just took a nosedive and I can feel it, and it's dropping my stomach. It makes me dizzy. I was so happy, but I was so happy I was in the sunlight with the three sisters. I was so happy. Why is this happening to me? Why? And then the nosedive just takes us down. We're so far away from the vacation in the sun. It's like we're a billion miles away. We're starting to understand this porcupine, this spiky ball in the heart. But it doesn't hurt like that. But we're starting to understand how that happens, when the plane takes the nosedive. And we feel a billion miles away from the sun. And it hurts. And now I'm starting to feel the spiky ball in the heart, and in a way, it makes it so I kind of want to die myself, because life is not worth living if it is going to feel like this, It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And it hurts so bad, and I can't just take it out. I can't just remove it. It's not like a skin tag. I can remove the skin tag, but the porcupine spiky ball in my energy heart, how do I remove that? And so we feel it, and it lingers there, and it hurts. We got to go all the way down, okay, in order to heal this, because this nosedive is a really big deal. And this could be memories of having lost your daughter and your sister and your mother, and taking you from the central sun or something of this happiness and vacation, and then life takes a nosedive. And this is still a memory, right? In your energy field, there's just still a memory. I feel worse with this nosedive than I did standing with all the heads. I feel worse here. Because this nosedive, I don't know when it's going to stop. It just continues to nosedive. And it's like, I don't know, is there no ground down there? Because I've been nosediving for a while here. And I would expect to hit something by now, but I'm still nosediving. Man, there's a lot of negative thoughts and feelings in here. I feel so, I mean, you could describe it as just sadness, okay? But it also feels like a loss of hope. Hope is like a belief in brightness, you know? And so if we lose hope, we feel dark. We feel a darkness. And now the photograph, the album, the museum of art, we open and we walk through the pages, you know? Now it's covered in darkness, you know? And we feel it. Life is like this, isn't it? This is horrible. This is so painful. And it says, I don't know if I'll ever recover from it. I don't know that I'll ever stand up again. I don't know that I'll ever live again. I don't know that I'm ever really going to be again, because you've lost a part of yourself. Loss has inspired you to feel as though you have lost a part of yourself, and that is not true. You gave a part of yourself to something that you loved, and now it is time to move on, right? Time to move on and time to bring your soul back. This is so interesting because I just did a Ascension energy update on my other YouTube channel, and this whole phenomenon was actually discussed in that video. And now it is ringing a bell here with your session, because there's a parallel with this about letting go and bringing the part of your soul back into yourself. Man, it's just, I'm just gonna linger here in the sadness because you need to vent. You really need to vent this out. So this is kind of like returning to the heads world, where we just got to reassess the perception and the way it feels. And this time it feels a little too raw and a little too real, but that heads world has totally disappeared. But this is something different, and this is really hard. This is really, really hard. And it's dense. It's very heavy and dense. And I'm struggling really to stand on my own 2 feet as though I am myself. Like the person that I know I am, I'm not that. Who am I? I've taken the nosedive. Sadness, really intense, okay? Ugh, I'm heavy. And it's just so, it's like you just stepped into a 10 pound or like a 10 ton, like it's like a snowsuit, and it's big and bulky, but it weighs like 10 tons. And you just zipped it up and said, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to wear this, and this is how I'm going to live my life. I am going to live my life feeling really, really heavy and sad. And that's what this is like. And it's interesting because a part of your heart wants to heal with your father's heart. That your father's heart has got a porcupine in it, and he just wants you to remove it. So the exchange of love is going to be unique in how it teaches one and the other. It teaches both of you. He's teaching you and you're teaching him. You have really good teachers in your life, and you're also a very, very good teacher too. You should be proud of yourself. Really proud of yourself. There's something changing here. I start to see your father as a man, and he's looking into your eyes, and he's letting go of himself for a minute. And he's seeing you. He is seeing you. And he's looking into your eyes, and he is seeing you. And what is he doing? And this is meaningful. I mean, this feels meaningful to me. And he's reaching his hand into his heart, and I was like, are you going to give her the spiky ball, or what are you doing here? But he's reaching his hand inside of his heart, and he's pulling something out to give it to you. And I don't know what it is. Let me investigate. He says, no, I'm not giving you my issues, my problems. At least that's not his intention. Parents seem to give us their issues sometimes, don't they? But it's some sort of note. And this is interesting because it's like a love letter. It's really sweet, okay? It's really sweet and adorable. And it's the beautiful, kind gesture. And there's meaning and value in this. So let me keep looking at it. He is taking the time to see the spiky balls inside of your heart. And he is thinking about what he could do to lighten your load and your burden. Because he knows what it's like, and he's got a big spiky ball in his heart, like it's a big sphere. He says that he still hasn't learned how to let go. And maybe you will be able to accomplish learning how to let go better than he is learning. Your spiky balls are actually small. They're like the size of golf balls. His spiky ball is like, I don't know, it's not like as big as a volleyball. It's slightly smaller, but I mean, it's big. It's a big spiky ball. But yours are smaller, like the size of golf balls, and you have a couple of spiky balls in there. When he puts his hand into your heart, it goes through the spiky balls. So he can't take it out. He can't remove your spiky balls. Does that sound wrong? This sounds, I don't know what this is. It's funny. Okay, I gotta get serious again. Okay. Does he have a sense of humor? Because he's like snickering or snarking. He's kind of giggling under his breath. Okay. And he hopes that he definitely loves you very much. And he hopes that you will know how much that he loves you in your life. Not after you die and meet his soul or something like that, but to actually know how much he loves you right now. How much he loves you right now. This is really powerful. It's really intense because you're like, in a way, he's like, he kind of says it on this level, like, you're the only one I have left. He's saying it on this level, like, you're the only one I have left. And it has to do with memory and reflection of what family means and love and support. He's saying it like this. He reached in your heart and he still can't grab the spiky balls out. And he says it again, that he really hopes that you will know how much he loves you right now. He's still alive, you're still alive, and he wants you to know that. And he smiles. He lays back down. I mean, he's kind of in a hospital bed is what it looks like. And he's sort of like, it's kind of tilted. So he's kind of leaning back. And his heart starts to reminisce and think about the three sisters, okay? Soulmates, because you're all soulmates. You're really close soulmate. You have close soulmate connections. He's smiling and he's thinking about happy memories. And when he thinks about happy memories, the spiky ball starts to get smaller, okay? Starts to get smaller. And for a moment, it looks like it's almost disappeared, but when it does that, there's a strange black hole that's there. And you give him a really big hug. And the message is, that is what love is. That is what love does. It shrinks our spiky balls. And when the spiky balls have shrunken and there's a black hole in their place, Now there's room for love to heal and nurture the black holes within us. And family can do that. It's really powerful. It's really intense and beautiful. Really beautiful. Three sisters are three birds, and they're free. They're free. And they're flying free. They're not caged birds. They're flying free. There's something beautiful in that message too, is to think about the ways that you may be caging yourself because you're one of us. You're a bird too. And how you may be caging yourself with your attachment to loss. Loss hurts, and we want to understand it better. And this is the spirit realm's way, through me, their way, your Father's way, the universe's way, to share that gift to help you move on. This is how they want to share it, through me, okay? All right, we're going to another, a new energy space. This is, we're making progress. So progress is like going up the stairs. So we reach an elevated point, and then sometimes we go down what appears like we're stepping backwards, but we're actually just staying on the same step until we can clear out that, and then we go up to the next step. So the next step is actually feels worse, but it's better. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here, and it feels sad. All right. We're making progress, and we're helping to let go of what the energetic sadness is that you've really felt in your life, because it's a true feeling, you know? And so we're working on transforming that true feeling into something new. But we'll still run into little pockets along the way that we can put our little medicines of love in there to transform that pocket into something new, and then that pocket, and then that pocket. And now you're full of way more pockets that see loss as a beautiful thing and not a tragedy, okay? So we're flipping you inside out. It's a good thing. Okay. Okay, so wow, my head is just like plummeted. So head plummets through throats, through heart, and then like into stomach where the emotions are, okay? So it's like whoosh. And it's just, we're just letting the energy shift here. So just let me get through it. Okay. All right, what is this? What is this place? It's black everywhere. It's like a bulging belly. And I'm kind of touching it, and it's, oh man. Ugh. It wants to pop. And so in one version, it's still a bulging, it's like a big old orb, and I can kind of push into it. It's blown up like a balloon, but there's still some give, so I can push into it, and it's got a thick sort of layer, squishy layer. And so I'm sort of doing that still in one version. Another version, it's popped or it's broken, and there's a horrid rancid smell on the inside of it. So now both of the images are merging together, and the air is already starting to clear. And on the other side is a doorway. This is a super, 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 super important. I can feel the super importance of this doorway. That's what it's saying. It's like the Holy Grail doorway. Okay. I'm going towards it. I'm going to go in it. So I'm opening it, and it's stuffed full of too much gold is what it's like. Way too much gold. It's all compacted in there. And it's so compacted in there. I'm like trying to take out, it's like literally looks like a pearl necklace, but it's all golden beads. It's like golden pearls or something. And I try to pull this like pearl necklace out. It's got gold. It's all made out of gold. And it's even stuck, and nothing is like, it's like gold in all different ways. It's gold jewelry, gold everything. Anything that could be in a closet and then paint it gold, but it's all gold. It's real gold. And I'm trying to pull this out and it just won't come out. And if I could just unlodge this, the whole thing will cave and I can start digging all this gold stuff out so I can get into the other side, so I can get through the doorway, see what's in there. Again, this is your deeper self not wanting you to see something because it doesn't know how to process it itself, okay? This has kind of got an Atlantis emanation to it, but let's keep going further and just see where this takes us. Oh, there's a not nice person. He's got a very strange face. Again, it's going to be much like the World War II. It's going to be kind of like a story of to help us understand the meaning of it so we can heal it, okay? It's not like the intricate taken photograph, but it's going to have the meaning inside of this. So this is definitely representative of what would be defined as Atlantis. But there's a man standing here, not what I would define as looking Atlantean. He's made out of black. He has a really long, distorted jaw, and he's standing in a corner of a room, and there's bricks. It kind of looks like a castle. It's just like, it looks kind of like a medieval castle on the inside. And you're in the top of the tower. And he's a shadow man. And you're walking towards him and you're saying, I don't need your help anymore. And he's very sad because he works with loss. And if you don't want to work with loss anymore, now he has lost you. And that grieves him. It grieves him. And see how he's all distorted and kind of stretched out and distorted. And I say, do you know about Atlantis? He changes his demeanor and he starts to look actually not distorted and starts to look put together. He starts to shine with gold. And he goes inside of himself as though it is a doorway. I'm going to go inside of him too. Very long staircase. I feel like I'm in like an Egyptian pyramid and I'm going down. It feels very much so like an Egyptian pyramid, and the staircase goes down beneath the earth. It rises so high above the ground, but the staircase goes down beneath the earth, and it feels like I've been walking down the staircase like thousands of steps. And it's very buried, very deep down inside, beneath the earth. And this also is interconnected with your sexual body, okay? And joy, right? Freedom of self-expression, divine feminine, divine masculine, intimacy, pleasure, these types of feelings that are sacred gifts, spiritual gifts, you know? They give us access to a portal of a spirit realm inside a most sacred space. So this is very emotional, and my heart starts to go up into my throat, and then my eyes start to feel sad and tears start to fall. And this is very weird, but I don't know what this is. It's like, feels like a tongue, but I'm squishing it with my hands, and it's black and it fills the entire room. And he's sort of, he's taking me here, but I don't feel like he's going any deeper than this. This is super intertwined with your sexual body. So, just a moment here. This is an interesting question. Where does love come from exactly? Biologically, does it come from our heart? Biologically, does it come from our mind? Does it come from our voice? Does it come from our emotions? this is an interesting idea, but let's just say biologically, love actually comes from the sexual body, first and foremost. Let's just say, this isn't necessarily saying that, but let's just say that love comes from the sexual body. And they're almost wanting to have me say it like, okay, we're looking at an idea, a vibrational idea of the meaning of Atlantis in your energy field. And Atlantis is within your sexual body. And the love that exists in your sexual body and interconnected with Atlantis. So if love comes from the sexual body and Atlantis falls, now the love too has fallen. And it doesn't just fall from Atlantis, it falls from from many portals or places across the globe, because it is a collective thing. So when Atlantis falls, the collective also experiences a fall. This is really a big deal, because they're not showing me the specific details, but they are showing me, again, emphasizing that your soul participates in experiences. So there was a big participation in the Atlantis experience, and you were one of these souls, which is really neat, because it's tying it back to how you signed up to participate in the big experience that was World War II, because it was already known. It was already known that this was going to take place. And then it's taken place in billions of different ways, because there's a billion different things happening all at the same time. There's just so many different timelines. So they show me that within the divine feminine space, let's say, okay, there is a pyramid that represents Atlantis. It's a golden pyramid. And the golden pyramid cracks in the most sad way. It's really what it is. And then as it cracks, it starts to lose the strength of its structure. And as it loses the strength of its structure, all of the communications of all the different golden parts of itself start to lose track of each other, because a separation is necessary. A separation is absolutely necessary from the reflection of Atlantis on the grid, the Earth grid. So Atlantis must fall. Atlantis actually must fall. But your soul is holding on to the idea that Atlantis needs to still exist. That is a part of this, believe it or not. That actually is a part of this. You signed up to participate in the big movie, which was the real life experience of the fall of Atlantis. And it felt real, and it was real to your soul in every way, shape, and form. It was absolutely real. But it also was just participating in like the play, in the act. So our attachment to the suffering and the sorrow of the event keeps us here, okay? And keeps parts of ourselves in the past, when they can actually be free, and then they can come back to us and we can be more ourselves than we ever were before. So this is to help you become more yourself than you ever were before. It's super ridiculously painful. It hasn't fully fallen. The pyramid is cracked and it's kind of caving in certain places, but it still has a sharp top, like a sharp top to it. And you bend over to like tie your shoes in this scene, and it pokes through your stomach and it hurts really bad, and it reminds you of suffering. All right, it reminds you of suffering. And the suffering is what you hold within your divine feminine space. So loss of all of your soul sisters, okay? Daughter, sister, mother. This is also stored here in your sexual body. The suffering of World War II, the fall of Atlantis. These are also stored here. So how do we know when it is time to feel in gratitude for the events instead of feel tied to them, and to almost in a way feel a burden? And when we feel the burden, there's a certain element of spite involved in it, because we didn't get it the way we wanted it to be. World War II should never really have happened, right? Atlantis should never have fallen. If the Atlantis still existed today, the whole world would be different. And my daughter were still here, if my sister or my mother were still here, you see. These are hard topics. But we can also turn them inside out, and we can acknowledge that it's perfect just the way that it is. The earth grid in your journey, which I've never had it say this before and talked just like this, but it's saying that the earth grid actually needed Atlantis to fall in order for certain developments to take place. So it had to. It's like, I'm pregnant with a baby and I got to deliver. No, I'm not. I'm not going to deliver. It's never going to come out. Never. That would be what the earth would be like if it doesn't destroy Atlantis. I know it's a really weird example, but it has to give birth to new. The earth has to give birth to new. So Atlantis was the sister, the daughter, the mother that must fall, that must return to source, you know? And that is good. That is good. The earth needed that death to take place in order for it to grow in other places that were absolutely necessary. So it could birth new things, right? So now you have deaths in certain places, daughter, mother, sister, so you can grow in other places. And one of those growths too is healing your relationship with loss. This is a super positive journey, and it's been really wonderful because sometimes when I go into journeys like this, they can be very emotionally gripping. But yours has been so lighthearted, and I'm telling you, it's coming from the three sisters, the three birds, and you're one of these birds as well. And your father also is. You're all teachers of each other. Keeps coming back to this message. This journey is going to absolutely transform your relationship with loss so you can actually move on in a healthy way, which is to appreciate the photo album, appreciate the art museum. And then if sometime, a little dark gets on the photo and we get a scratchy pen and turn it into a unicorn smiling at us, that too is wonderful as well, because that's how we need to celebrate, not by ripping off the skin tag, but by drumming, all right? A ceremonial drumming and joy and painting our skin with colors and dancing, right? And that's how we should feel about the fall of Atlantis, and that's how we should feel about World War II. I know a lot of people would be very disgusted to hear me say these things, but why? Why do we need to hold on to suffering? It's not helping anybody. It's not even helping ourselves, because there's a bright new horizon every single day, You're an awesome person. You're a really awesome person. And it's been a real pleasure to connect with your soul and to meet your family members in the energy realm and to share these special messages with you. And I want to thank you again for sharing with the world your soul journey. I know it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people, especially people going through loss. People who have a connection with Atlantis or World War II might find relief too in watching this journey releasing from their own energy fields. So thank you. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.